Hello, welcome to episode 36 of the Harry Potter painting series. In this one we're doing the statues from the Piertoum Locomotor set. I wanted a really aged and dusty looking stone effect on these guys, because they've been standing outside for years and years. And I wanted it to also match the gaming board that I did a couple of weeks ago as well. So I think I've achieved it. And yeah, I just hope you enjoy the video. It's a really quick process, so yeah, let's get straight into it. Okay, so I started off with a prime. If you notice, this side is lighter than the other side. That's because I had a look at the box art, and we'll try and go with it anyway. So you spray your white from this side, everything else, your black from below, grey at 45 degrees, and then your white I've concentrated on this side, but and from above. So the main colour is going to be Zandri dust. I've got, because I want it to go, well, I wanted to try and match up with the gaming board that I did, and I used Zandri dust for that, mixed with Ushabti bow for the highlights. So I'm going to start off with adding a coat of Zandri dust. It's quite thin. There's about, on average, about 1 part paint to 2 parts water. And by the time we finish this, your highlights, or your shadow areas and your light areas, are still going to shine through beneath the coat of paint that we've put on. So there we are with the first coat of the Zandri dust, and hopefully you can still see the shadows on one side compared to the other. One side's lighter. It's more apparent on the shields where I've done pure zenithal priming, so it's white at the top and then darker at the bottom, and with that one thin coat you can still see there's a little tonal change down this way. The other thing that I do is when I'm painting the shield, I'll think about where I start with the paint. I'm going to go on to the second coat now, and I'm going to use exactly the same process. So load your brush as normal, and I'll start painting up the top. Now, because there's plenty of paint on my brush, the intensity builds here, and as I start using the paint there's less and less within the bristles, so that's when I start coming down into the tonal area, or the tonal change area. So I don't put as much paint on this part, so it keeps it darker than the top. So we'll see how that dries, but I don't want to do any more than 2 coats on this one, because it's going to be weathered quite heavily anyway, but I just want a slight tonal change. So, right, let's leave that dry, and I'll carry on with the big man now. I have to refill. So I'm going to apply the same technique with this one now. So the Zandri dust is a bit thinner now, so obviously I've added a bit more water to it, so it's getting pretty close to a glaze consistency now. And I'm going to apply it first to the light side. While I've still got plenty of paint on my brush, I'm not going all the way around to the front, I'm just stopping leaving about a third there. I'll do this side of the leg. And when I notice that less paint is going on, then I'll swap sides. So I'm still doing the light sides here. I should have gotten rid of some of the paint now, so I'll apply it to the opposite side. And that last third, the inside. So that's the principle. So start off with your loaded brush, full of paint. Paint the light side. When you're starting to run low on paint in your brush, swap to the dark side, and then carry on painting until there's no more paint to come out. So that way you'll keep the shadows, and then you'll intensify, or you're putting down more pigment on the light side. Quickly on the back as well. So I have been painting around here. I've left that bit. I'll do the same for the other side. Same on the shoulder pads as well. Leave that area that's close to the edge of the armour. I'm just doing one side of the head. Don't forget the calves, just the tops of the calves, and top of the thigh. Okay, we'll leave that dry. The next stage is to add Ushabti bone. So it's about a 50-50 mix of the Zandri dust and Ushabti bone. It's quite thin, same consistency as the second coat, so it's about a glaze. And using the same technique again, I'm just applying to the top half. Drop my brush there. Just got water on now. Just going to feather off anything at the edge there just to smooth the transition. And we'll do another coat when that's dry. Same technique now for the statue. I'm just going to stay onto the light side. And we'll pull the pigment up. And I stay in the centre half of the, I don't know if it's a pauldron or not, but I'll do the same on the other side. So I'm not coming all the way around to the front, I'm just sticking on the hip and going down the thigh. It's that to the top of the knee pad, the outside of the shin, just the top half. And in step with the foot. So I'll do the shoulder one as well. So it's really awkward, but I'm just working in that area there. If the paint goes too thick, make sure you feather it out. Another little bit of water. And don't forget the helmet, so I'm just going to stay up the top for the helmet. Okay, so we'll do another coat when that's dry. Apply a second coat of the 50-50 mix. Again, starting up the top. And I'm only going to go halfway with this one. Well, a bit, not as far down as we did with the first coat. And just feather it off. So this is the third coat now on the statue, and I'm just going to do the front of the breastplate, about that much, just feathering it off there. and the helmet and the shoulder pauldrons. If they're called pauldrons, I can't remember if they're called pauldrons. Top of the helmet. Alright, I'll feather that off and we'll leave it dry. The final highlight now is more Ushabti bone, so I'm about 70% Ushabti bone, 30% Zandri dust, but still plenty of water. I'm just going to do the top third. And feather that off, so we get a nice transition. Try the other shield. More water. Right. So the same mix to the statue, I'll just refocus. So just the top part of the armour there, the breastplate, and the pauldron, and the helmet, and the tip of the sword. So I'm just going to go up there. A little bit there, instep, knee pad. I think that's enough. Okay, so onto the weathering stage. I'm going to use these oil brushes from Mig, Ammo by Mig. I've got the black and the dark mud. The good thing about these is that it saves you faffing about with a tube of oil like I've got here. And yeah, I think I'll have more control on where I actually put the oil paint down. So we'll give them a go, see how they compare to oils that are used on the board. The only thing is I haven't got a green yet, so I'm going to go back to my trusty sap green just to get a bit of tonal variation going. So I'll get the white spirit ready, or the thinners, and yeah, we'll get weathering. So I've added on the oil, quite a lot of black on there. So just dip your brush in the thinner and streak. Make sure you get in between all the crevices. Right, and then streak. More thinner. Alright, I'm going to leave that to dry, see what it's like. So, same process. So you can see I've tried to concentrate the oils under the armpits and in the grooves where the darker shadows are going to be, so we'll see how that goes. It's got thinner on my brush now. Incredibly messy, but it's good fun. And the good thing, it doesn't dry out straight away. You can work on this for a good 20 minutes or so. I'm sure you could work longer on it as well. Just keep moving the thinner down the model. Sorry if my hand gets in the way, but that's the way the camera's set up at the minute. I know it looks horrible, but it will dry quite nicely. I have faith. As long as you don't leave any really intense patches, you'll be okay. Right, I'm going to leave that dry. The oil stage is still drying, but I'm in a rush to get it done now, so I've mixed some pigments now. I've got like a light grey dust colour now. I'm just going to apply it to the highlighted areas. I'll start dusting away now. It's starting to get a nice, really nice old textured stone look now to it. You might hate it, but I love it. And you can mix and match your pigments really. I've got like a dark one, a city grime I think it's called, and then what's the other one I've got? Light slate grey, and I've got like a greeny grey as well. So the greeny grey I'm going to add here and there just to get a bit of variation. The dark city dust I'd go on the opposite side to the light. Just put a little bit in there. And then I've got a slate grey mixed with a titanium white then. But the trick is now to get a smaller brush, smaller round brush, and you can flick some of the pigment away. You know, obviously where you don't want it. I'm not going to bother with a fixer or anything because I don't think they'll get much time on the table, to be honest. So if the pigment does come off over time, or if you're using them quite heavily, I'd hang on to the pigments and just reapply them when you need them. That's the beauty of pigments really, you can just go over the top of what you've done already if they come off. But no, for now that's looking pretty good. I'll do the same to the shields and the other lot as well, the other three, and then I'll get them on the bases and we'll do a wrap up. And there we are, finished on the bases, another one off the list, and yeah, really quick process, quite enjoyed it. It didn't take that much time at all really. The only thing that slows you down is the waiting for the oils to dry out, but I would recommend that you leave them, you know, a good 8-10 hours or maybe overnight and then come back to it the next day. But apart from that, really quick to do. I'm trying to match the bases as well, and yeah, fairly happy, so ready to go on to the next one. So if there's anything you don't understand, anything you need help with, get in touch in the comments. I'll try and help you out as soon as I can. And that's it for now. We'll see you in the next one.